Thank you very much, Louise, and hello everyone. Welcome to OTF Connect, and thank you so much for giving of your time to join us tonight. It's great to see that we have representation from across the province, and always good to have new participants joining us. So welcome everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome Janice Haines and Pamela Gibson, who will be facilitating tonight's webinar, Taking Math Outdoors. After such a long, cold winter, and considering that this is Earth Week, I certainly hope that you're all eager to take your students outdoors. Janice and Pamela bring much experience and many ideas to share with us tonight. So welcome, Janice and Pamela. I will pass the mic over to you.
Pamela and Janice, I think your microphone might be off. Double check your talk button. Oh dear, I hope your interface hasn't frozen. Are you able to type in the chat? Oh good, I see you're typing in the chat. Not a problem. Is your talk button working? There, I see your mic now. Go ahead and speak. Isn't that just the thing? We test everything out and now it looks like we might be having a glitch. I'm going to double check that it's not just me. Give me a green check mark if you can hear Pamela and Janice, and a red X if you can't. Okay. Pamela and Janice, you want to try logging out and logging back in again? Or actually before you do that, let's send you up to the audio settings. I am going to bump us back a slide or 3 and point you in that direction. So Pam and Janice, if you can click on that little microphone with the red gear over top of it in your audio video box. It's going to ask you to turn your microphone off first. And we'll see if we can get that sorted out. It's also possible, oh, is that you guys? Can I hear you now?
We can hear you.
Oh good, we can hear you now too. Yay! Okay, go ahead and speak, and let me push us back to your slide. There we go. All right, take it away, ladies. Okay, Pamela and Janice, we may need to go to that audio setup for you. It seems like your microphone might be only working intermittently. So are you able to pop up into that audio setup wizard, clicking on the red gear in your audio video box?
Audio setup cannot be run while you're talking. Audio setup. Okay. Why is it not working all of a sudden?
Okay, they're in the audio setup, so hopefully the intermittent issue will get resolved because their microphone was working perfectly fine earlier. I suspect that it's entirely related to the fact that we've still got people logging in, and that does slow the interface down a little bit. So those of you that are latecomers, I hope you didn't have trouble logging in, but once all that settles down, hopefully they won't have issues anymore. So let me pop back to the slide over here. There we go. And maybe while we're waiting, just in case it takes them another moment or two, if anyone would like to share in the chat if they've got any plans for their class for Earth Day tomorrow. Maybe we'll feel inspired. Okay, Pam and Janice, I see you're back. Go ahead. I see your mic's on, but I don't hear anything, but I'm going to assume you are actually speaking. Can you type in the chat and let me know what happened in the audio setup? Did it seem like it worked fine in there? Oh, you're doing the project with Chris Hadfield. Very cool. And the Eco Fair, Litterless Lunch, Yard and Garden Cleanup. Hopefully it's not raining for you, Amanda. Eco Ranger. That is correct, Pam. I know it was working perfectly, and you can hear us. So I think it may be because, as you can see, there's still a few people with some yellow symbols next to their name. I suspect that we've still got a lot of dynamic content stuff happening. Maybe it's the first slide. That's a good idea, Vera. We could just move off it and see what happens. That would be totally ironic. Okay, Pam and Janice, I think I'm going to recommend that you guys log out and log back in again, because when you did that before, it seems to refresh, reset, and be okay. Maybe the third time's the charm. Thanks, guys. Oh, I can just imagine how frustrated they're feeling right now, so thank you, everyone, for your patience. We do love technology. We just keep repeating that to ourselves. Oh, that's so cool, Rebecca. We have a lot of ladybugs in my particular corner of the world. They're actually a bit of a pest inside our house, but we try to be very gentle with them and capture them and release them. All, you know, dozens of them. So any of you that have just joined the session and are new to OTF Connects, Pamela and Janice were having a little bit of connection issues, so they've logged out, and hopefully when they come back in, we'll be able to hear them with their microphone. I'm just going to put this slide back up here so that you can take a quick peek and make sure that you're familiar with the tools that we have, and go ahead and ask me any questions that you might have about how to use them. That's a good question, Vera. Sometimes it feels like hundreds. I'm going to say I've counted at least 6 per room. And because I have more than 2, well, I guess I'd have to have more than 4 rooms in order for it to count as dozens. But how many dots would that be? Well, that depends on the age of the ladybug now, won't it? Okay, Pamela and Janice. Oh, I know you're speaking, but we're not hearing anything, but your content is still loading because you yourselves have the yellow indicator. So we'll give you another minute. We're just having some fun. I'm in the Hamilton area, but I'm in, I have a rural property behind my house, and there's a farmer near us that actually releases ladybugs by the pound to deal with other critter pests in their fields. So when he does that release, they all come to our windows on our house and the siding of our house. And it's really a little bit overwhelming. Swarms, there's actually swarms of them. We can have a crowdsourced session, right? Okay, know what, Pamela and Janice? I'm going to ask you to unplug your headset now and see if your integrated microphone does anything. I know that means that you possibly might not hear. Very true, Vera. Taking math outdoors. Oh, heard you for a second there. Look at all this creativity.
Yeah, I know that.
Can you hear me at all, Pam and Janice? Real world math, right, folks? And then you can count how many legs, and then have a comparison with insects and arachnids. Syria, I'm wondering if you want to do your old speakerphone technique. Do you want to try that?
That's a good idea.
Okay.
You
Pam
have,
and Janice. Well, let me just confirm whose house they're at.
Can you get the number to them, or shall I say the number over the...
Here, I'll send an email really fast to Pamela and Janice and have them... Actually, you know what? Pam and Janice, you can hear me, right? I'm going to have you phone Syria, and she's going to put you on speakerphone, which we have done before, and the sound is not perfect, but it's better than no sound. So Pam and Janice, click on the moderator tab of your chat.
I figured you'd all call me. That's why I didn't want to say my number out loud.
Exactly. You know, we love our OTF members, but I'm sure that that as a federation, we want to make sure that your personal information is protected in the recording that's publicly posted. And Pam and Janice, while you're doing that, take a deep breath. All is good. You're in a very compassionate and understanding group right now.
Just want to give everybody the heads up. I have a very needy and loud cat. So if you hear some meows in the background, that'll be it. Louise, maybe, I don't know if you've got time right now, or if it's possible, you could even post how interested Boo is in OTF Connect.
Oh, yeah. Very good. Very good. Here you go, folks. You can grab your clip art tool and populate the screen here. That's the bottom tool of your tool strip. And then go to the Common Symbols tab and pick an icon and drop it on the screen, as many spots as you've heard about OTF Connects.
Not talking, so what's the problem?
So the double irony is, folks, when Pamela and Janice unplug their headset, their microphone might be working, but they can't hear us then because they don't have speakers on their computer. And that red, lovely red laggy symbol next to their name with the microphone is not a good sign. Wow. Poster. Someone actually saw the poster. Yay, poster. Whoever your affiliate rep is at your school has done a good job. Okay.
They don't have my number. Can you?
All right. Hopefully they're watching the chat there. Yeah, marker collection. I haven't heard of that one before. You can recycle those? Oh, okay, Siri, there you go. They posted their number. Thank you, guys. So do they recycle them into more markers, highlighters, and pens, or they just recycle the plastic? Do you know? And do they only do it at this time of year? Is it all the time? Oh, clever, Tabitha. That's actually kind of funny because that's the part of the marker you lose all the time.
Well, hello everyone. Sorry, Louise. I have
No
two
problem.
celebrities here on my phone, and possibly, Louise, you could have control of the slides. That way,
Sure.
Pamela and Janice just can concentrate on their talking. So here they are. Welcome again.
Hi, sorry everyone. We're techno-weenie, so it doesn't help. So today I was just saying to you earlier, and I have no idea whether you heard any of this, that today outside here in Belfountain, where we are, and we've had hail, we've had rain, we've had snow, we've had absolutely everything but lightning. And with regard to lightning, lightning is the only reason that in our school we stay indoors. So rain doesn't stop us, snow doesn't stop us. If the school board makes us stay in because it's so blinking cold, we do. But most of the time, we can get outside. So I hope you're about the same. And we may be technologically challenged, but we're not outdoor challenged.
Good to know.
Yes, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm glad somebody's laughing at our jokes. Okay, my name is Pamela Gibson, and I'm an occasional teacher at Belfountain School, having retired from the classroom, and I was there for 20 years. So Belfountain has my heart and soul. And Janice is a teacher at Belfountain, and today I was in at her classroom because she was teaching or facilitating a workshop at York University. So we kind of do pinch hitting for each other. And we thought we were going to have to join up like Bossy Twins here because we had one set of headphones and there are two of us, so what can I say? Anyway, here we are. Hello.
And I'm Janice. I'm a grade 5-6 teacher at the moment. Usually I'm in grade 4, but this year I was changed to grade 5-6 and loving it. I have a great group and we do a lot of cool things together. And today the session was on inquiry, and inquiry and math outdoors, they all fit really well together. Can everybody hear us?
They said it's fabulous. It's kind of like a wind tunnel, but they can hear you.
Okay, good. All right. So let's get started.
Amanda has a question already. No? Okay, let's move on.
Roll the slide.
We're going to have to beep or click.
Okay.
Next slide, Louise.
Okay, we're good. So what do you do to prepare to learn outdoors?
And what we had in mind here was not so much what we do as teachers, but what do you do with your students and how do they respond when you're actually to think about getting them outside. Any great ideas?
I'll just jump in.
Okay,
Folks, you can respond with some of your ideas in the chat or on the text tool on the slide.
Storm with some of them. Great idea. All right. Ask for ideas, engage them in the idea or the project. Make sure that this is a slow release. It's been our experience that sometimes people try to do things too quickly. The famous line is always, oh, I tried that once and it didn't work. Oh, what did you do? Oh, I took them out for an hour and they were dreadful. So I'm encouraging everybody who has not taken their kids out on a regular, weekly, if not daily, learning experience, that you go slowly. You take them out for maybe 5 minutes the first day, and you come back in and you take them out for another 5 minutes, and then maybe 10, then 15, and that's what we're calling the slow release. You help kids to get dialed into the temperature, the precipitation, through various awareness activities. What's it like out there? What might it be like for us? What are we going to be challenged by? What should we be aware of? Is there anything that would make things unsafe that we need to deal with? And as you said, consult them and find out what it is they're thinking of. Oftentimes kids have emotional baggage from the past in terms of being outside. A lot of kids aren't so keen to be out there as one might think. They just haven't had the experience. So you can build a positive attitude with these guys, one experience at a time. Lots of reflection time, talking with them, journaling their experiences, writing poetry or other forms of literature with them, art responses, drama responses, dance, music, etc., so that you are getting feedback constantly from them about how they're feeling. Some kids can't even stand to sit on the ground. And I remember taking a group out once, and I said to them, we're going to sit down. How many of you are comfortable with that? And believe it or not, a lot of them weren't. So it's a question of building trust and building that reciprocating relationship surrounding going outside. No matter where you go, whether you go to the gym or you go to the library or you go outside, there's always ways of being in each of those places, and to discuss the expectations, to discuss possible issues there might be surrounding that. Going outside, sometimes there's boundary questions. I had one teacher tell me, I took them out and they all ran away. So right away we say, okay, classroom, that surrounds them, that's easy to deal with. You may not like where they are, but you certainly will know that they're in the room. So there's little games you can play, like follow the leader, circle up, all of those boundaries and signals, creating a signal where you want them to be at a certain time. And that can be all done through cooperative games. You can start off having kids really close to the school, and eventually they can migrate farther and farther. Kids are really good at forecasting danger or any situation that might not be safe, and you can talk about that, which is kind of cool. One of the things that you've probably all done is to adopt a special spot where kids can go outside and at first be there either under their own tree, or they can be in a place where you drop them off as you're taking a little walk, and they can have a solo spot and they can just experience what it's like just to be relatively alone for a little bit of time. And once again, this is slow release where you might have them sit there for 1 minute and then come back and reflect on what that was like. You might give them an activity to do when they're not very familiar with it, and just then gradually increase the time so that just being outside becomes a learning environment or a learning grounds, and they get cool with it instead of worrying or feeling that there is behavior issues or that they're out there to play. Another thing you can do is give kids something like a clipboard. Immediately when they have something in their hand or a small journal, they know that they're there for a different reason than to play soccer. So I highly recommend clipboards at first. They just seem very official, and they know that they're going to be expected to put something on them, and that it's not business as usual outside. It's a different kind of business. Learning to be outdoors is kind of cool. Do some outdoor yoga with them, just simple things. A little outdoor meditation, just reading under a tree for a little while. Get gradually used to being alone, being still, dialing into surroundings, and increase this outdoor time slowly. If you do that, and I know some of you've had a tremendous amount of experience with this or you wouldn't be interested, but just make sure that you're going at their pace and building on experiences one at a time.
And we had that same conversation today. One of the teachers said the exact same thing. I took them outside. She did see the benefits because when they came back in, they did have much deeper questions and had more to say. But she did say it was very challenging, and it was something that she would have to make sure she did again because it was. She didn't want to say chaotic, but it didn't go as well as expected because she didn't feel like they were listening and all of those things. So.
And one must always remember things don't always go the way we want them to indoors either. And sometimes people will say, well, I have 3 or 4 kids who will behave badly. And I often say to them, will they behave badly indoors sometimes as well, or in the library, or in the gym, or the hall? Yes, they will. And eventually, there's been a lot of research surrounding kids' behavior, and eventually these kids will learn to love the outdoors, and they will be behaving better. They will, particularly kids that have ADHD or kids who have other challenges, will find it refreshing to be somewhere else than feeling a little cooped up inside. So keep persisting, and it's like anything else, it's training. And they'll be good with it eventually.
Less behavior issues. Okay.
Change that slide.
Yeah, absolutely. Repetition is the key. Okay, so connecting the curriculum. If you look at the front of everybody's curriculum at the beginning of the math, they talk about the process expectations. So when you're thinking about investigating math in our world, these are some of the key things that you want to be looking at or working with, as well as the rest of your curriculum. So just to give you an example of something that I use, I went to a talk with and heard Dan Myers speak. I don't know if any of you are familiar with him, but he has some really interesting things to say about math. And he's interesting. I think on one of the next slides, we've got a short video that you'll be able to watch him. And anyway, so if you want to go ahead and click it there. Oh, I can click it. Never mind. Okay, so Dan Myers here. So I don't know how does this work. If we can just play it here. Louise?
Yep, I'm just going to jump on, folks, and let you know we're going to watch a short video, but based on the fact that Pam and Janice have had some of that internet connection issues, I'm not going to open the video in the web tour, so I'm only putting the link in the chat. And you guys can click on that link in the chat. It's going to open YouTube in your own browser. It's going to play the video right away and give us a green check mark with your polling tool when you're finished. If you can't click on the chat, if it's not working, copy and paste that link into your browser.
Now you can make even bigger strides towards your cardiovascular health. Introducing Mega Red Superheart.
Looks like just about everyone is finished with the video. Shall we give it a couple more seconds?
Sure.
Jan and Pamela, I think, are ready to come back on. So, Louise, you let us know when. Just a few more, ladies.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead, ladies. Looks like everyone's here, or just about.
Sorry. Okay, so he's really interesting, and like I was saying, if you Google him, there's actually longer clips and him sharing his thoughts about math and the real world. And what I find interesting about him, I mean, he's the one kind of doing the work here with the going outside and doing things and bringing it into the students. And after seeing something with him, I kind of took it the other way and got the students thinking about math in their world and bringing in pictures to me. And the reason that I started that was because of his confidence in math. So the students in my class, I just found they would say, I can't do math, or just talked about how difficult it was. And I thought, you know, it's so easy to bring up a picture, think about math in their world, and ask a question, and they can all be successful at that. So that's where kind of I started from with him. And it also helped a lot with their perseverance. And if you think about it, all of those math processes can be hit with that questioning piece in mathematics.
And I thought too, when I was watching him and being a little more involved in his videos, that he shed some light on the fact that we are not problem solving as in a textbook, but rather solving real problems. So whatever comes up in their world, or whatever they're interested in, that's the math conversation that he initiates. And I think math is a conversation, and it's also about wrong answers, not about right answers. It's about how do we get closer to something that's reasonable. And you can do this in the real world without the answers at the back of the textbook. Okay. So what would this look like at your grade level? Share.
You can see how this is like a real starting point. Like you could get really a lot deeper into all of these things. You know, it could be just one moment, 1 hour, but then it could keep going as well. The grade 6 one looks like it's going to keep going. Okay, we're going to show another example.
Great stuff, you guys. Yeah.
So math inquiry in the outdoors. So what I would say to my kids is, what is the question? So in this case, you know, what is the question? What would you think?
Yeah, what's heavier? What weighs more? What's bigger? Loving it. Anything else you can think of?
There's a lot of obvious math questions. Yeah, and then exactly.
How can I move that focus?
Yeah.
Yes, visual provocation. Yeah, I think that is true.
And you notice how the questions are getting, you know, you've started with maybe some level 1, but then you're moving. You're just asking a lot of different questions. People are coming at it from their own backgrounds and knowledge base, so you can get a lot out of that with the questions.
So we could look at this from a primary level. We could look at this from a high school type level. And Janice was busy involving her kids with this question. And of course, they were answering at a grade 5, which is the grade 2 to grade 7 or 8 level. And it's kind of interesting about how the relationship they wanted between the elephants and the pumpkins. Yes, the elephants eat pumpkins. I love it. Indeed.
And then we went on to the, why would it be important to know this information, which is something that you can get into as well with the kids. And then moved on to what information do you need to investigate your question, which is always fascinating to me because the kids use all kinds of resources to figure that out. And in this case, we're giving them a little bit of a clue with the elephant, and of course the first thing they do is research how much an elephant weighs, and they start measuring the elephant and measuring it, and we talk a lot about that. So you can get really deep, and there's a lot of thinking and a lot of analyzing, and I love doing it with the kids.
Yes, you can relate to the country fair. There we go. Exactly.